Hello, I am Dmitry Kourliandski, a composer, and I would like to talk about one of my current projects. A few years ago, sometime before the pandemic, I became fascinated with the idea of creating my own parallel reality, my second virtual identity. I considered various possibilities, from a smartphone app to a personal neural network that would generate my scores and recordings on demand. I formulated a project, made preliminary agreements with a future team, started looking for funding, and could already envision my avatar living in its virtual apartment, restlessly waiting for commissions. But reality proved stronger in its unpredictability. First, my plans were overwhelmed and postponed by the wave of the pandemic. Then they were completely swept away by war and emigration. By the end of my first year in emigration, I decided that Kourliandski 2.0 would exist despite everything, but not in the safety of virtual reality, but in the cruelty of objective world, literally among us. And it shouldn't just generate variations of my music, it had to create something of its own, something independent. I started making electronic music. Over the past 3 years, while continuing to compose and teach, I have recorded 9 albums, published them on online platforms, released them on physical media, registered in Public Rights Society. I have created a fully realized version of my duplicate, a sound artist and producer working at the intersection of minimal techno, dub, ambient, and to a lesser extent, experimental electronics. I've always been interested in this kind of music and have listened to quite a lot of it, so it felt logical to create music that I would enjoy listening to in my headphones, whether on the subway or at home during moments of procrastination. More precisely, it seemed logical not just to create music, but to create the author of such music. And now I have his test pressings on my shelves. You can touch them, listen to them, buy them. And his tracks often play in my headphones. But he exists and lives within his modest prospects. Sometimes people even like his work, leave comments, and occasionally buy his tracks and albums. He is passionate about his art, continues to learn from himself, and develops in his own way. Kourliandski 1.0 cannot help him. My experience and connections are useless in his case. The audience, environment, and tools of existence are too different. And professionally, my duplicate has to move forward independently and almost blindly. I am not an expert in electronic music. In fact, I'd say that Kourliandski 2.0's experience in this field already surpasses my own. If anything, I'm the one learning from him. I observe him, support him, praise or critique him, and marvel at both our differences and our similarities. We help each other by allowing ourselves to step outside of ourselves, to see ourselves from the outside, to establish a critical distance. I see Kourliandski 2.0 as my own composition. I have often said that a composer does not just write musical works, but also creates the contexts in which they are perceived. In this case, I went further. I composed the author himself. I'm not ready to generalize or theorize this project, let's call it that, just yet. Any composition needs time to accumulate and reveal its properties. Kourliandski 2.0 might need years to fully manifest himself, but I'm in no hurry, and I'm not rushing him either. One more important detail. I hesitated over whether to give this project my own name, to invent a pseudonym, or at least to add the 2.0 suffix. In the end, I decided that he should be my true, double, and exact namesake.
If you would like to support the project and purchase an album or a track, you can do so on my page at kourliandski.bandcamp.com or by buying a vinyl record at elasticstage.com. Kourliandski.
Welcome, and nice to meet you.